Hey guys, just really quickly, I wanted to explain that I filmed this video weeks ago during December. That's why there's a Christmas tree in the background. And I also mispronounced the name of the person who created the tag. It is Lenn Woolston, not Jen Woolston. So I apologize for that. I am terrible at remembering names and pronouncing them, and that's a struggle in my life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Crazy cat. There is a fluffy doggo and a coaster. I am never alone. Hey guys, it's Kozak, author of adult urban fantasy, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, it's been a minute. I've been kind of overwhelmed and stressed because it is the holiday season, so I thought it would be nice to do something a little low-key and relaxed today, so I'm going to be doing a tag. The tag I decided to do is called the Author Trivia Tag, originally created by Jen Woolston. I'll link her channel and video down below as always. I was actually tagged 2 or 3 months ago, I think, by Novelly KJ and Maverick Moses to do this tag, but I didn't do it yet because I just put things off and am always falling behind and running around like a crazy person, which is very on brand for me. So this is no surprise that it took me so long to make this, but that's what I'm going to be doing today. Of course, I am going to link both of their channels and videos down below as well so that you can go enjoy and bask in their amazingness. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more time babbling in the introduction. I'm going to just jump right into the 10 random facts about me. Fact number 1, I was a tomboy growing up. This shouldn't come as any surprise. I mean, I wear t-shirts almost exclusively and wear very minimal makeup, if any, so I really haven't grown out of it per se, but it's definitely a label that frequently got placed on me when I was younger, and it never really bothered me. I'm very comfortable with who I am, and I don't feel like I have to fit any sort of expectations that society has for me, so it's not something that bothers me. I'm very confident with how non-traditionally feminine I am. Some of the biggest things I did that made people give me that label back then was I read almost exclusively books about male protagonists, and all of my cousins around my age were boys, and we would play like these adventure, swashbuckling fantasy games together, which I guess is so masculine. I don't know, but that's how it happened. And obviously I didn't grow out of that fantasy phase either. I mean, I'm still in it and probably never leaving it, so. Fact number 2, I was homeschooled up until junior high, and then in high school, instead of attending a traditional high school, I did concurrent enrollment and actually graduated high school with an associate's degree. However, 18 years old is pretty much where my academic achievements end. College ate me alive. I honestly loved being homeschooled. It gave me a very close relationship with my mother, and it taught me independence and the skills necessary to teach myself concepts rather than needing other people to teach me things. So I am grateful for what I gained from it. Fact number 3, I am a huge history nerd. And let me just clarify what I mean by history nerd. I attended a history club on purpose. Just let that sink in. I used my free time to go hang out with a bunch of other history nerds and debate about whether or not Atlantis was real, or about different battles of World War II and all these different shenanigans. I'm still super into history. In fact, more than half of my book collection is actually nonfiction, mostly focused on history. My favorite historical period, I think I've mentioned a couple times before, is definitely the last century, the 20th century, especially armed conflicts. Of course, World War II and World War I. I don't enjoy learning about the Korean or Vietnam Wars as much. I do like more of an emphasis on the world wars, particularly on the Eastern Front. I know, big shocker, the Russian speaker likes the Eastern Front. Number 4 kind of piggybacks off of this, but I don't actually own a lot of books. I love the library, I always have, and even some of my favorite novels, I don't own physical copies of them. I know that's crazy. I'm trying to change that this year. I'm going to be investing in a lot more books because I do want to support other writers, and I actually want to get an e-reader so that I can purchase more books, because obviously ebooks are a little more affordable than paper books, especially hardcover. But yeah, basically the bookshelf that you've seen me in front of a couple times, that's all the novels I have. Sorry, I am ashamed. Fact number 5, I am stupid competitive. And I don't mean in general, like in life and in careers and those sort of more serious aspects. I mean in board games and card games and video games. Like, I am stupidly competitive to the point that I act like a child sometimes, and it's very embarrassing. So a story that my mother loves to tell about me is when I was a little girl, I was playing checkers with my great-grandmother. And, I was a little girl, I didn't have good strategy, and my grandmother didn't believe in, playing poorly just so that a child could win, which is a good rule of thumb. And so I lost, and I threw kind of a tantrum because I wanted to win so badly. And my grandma kind of pulled my mom aside and was like, "Oh, you better watch out for that," in a joking way. But obviously it came to fruition that I am not a good sport. Obviously now I'm a grown woman, so I am a bit better than I was back then, but every once in a while my competitiveness does get the better of me. And in fact, my husband likes to tease me that he's keeping our marriage together by limiting how many games we can play together. You know you have a problem when your husband has to put a limit on your games. I just tipped over the camera, that's why the screen probably shifted a little. Whatever. Fact number 6, I play acoustic guitar and write music. Now, disclaimer, I've only written like 2 or 3 songs, and it's very simple music, just chords and strumming, but I do love music, particularly folk music. You guys know I love Russian folk music, but it is a huge part of my life, and it's actually one of the ways my husband and I initially connected when we were getting to know each other. I think I've mentioned it before, but my husband is actually a really, really talented guitarist. He plays metal guitar. He has a bunch of electric guitars and pedals and equipment, and he just knows all this crazy music theory and stuff, whereas I'm just kind of that loser that sits next to the campfire and, strums 3 basic chords and can sing an American folk song for you. So obviously we have vastly different abilities and tastes, but the love of music still connects us. Fact number 7 is pretty short, but I have never broken a bone or sprained a joint. I don't know how. I feel like I've done fairly risky things physically, but yeah, I guess maybe I'm just lucky or blessed or whatever. Or it's just all the darn milk I drink. Not sponsored. Fact number 8, I actually really love playing video games. We had a Nintendo GameCube and a PlayStation 2 when I was younger, but we had very casual games and I would only play every once in a while. When I was in college, I discovered more serious gaming because I started dating someone who was a gamer and who was also trying to break into voice acting for video games. So I discovered my favorite series from, I guess, my young adult years, which was Assassin's Creed. I don't like the new games. I kind of stick with the old original stuff, but that really did shape my love of games and what style I like in gaming. I hear a lot of writers talk about what actors and directors they would want if their book was ever made into a movie, but I actually think about what game studio I would like to adapt my books into video games. I think that video games have an amazing ability to really give time for proper character development, setting the world, and really exploring the plot more in depth, as well as giving you time for side quests, side characters, and all sorts of things. So in particular for highly developed fantasy worlds, I think video game adaptations are a little better than movie adaptations. Just my opinion, don't judge me, I'm a nerd. Fact number 9 is I enjoy rock climbing even though I am terribly, terribly, terribly afraid of heights. Now, just a disclaimer, I haven't gone rock climbing outdoors yet. I do just work out in a gym. However, I am terrified of heights, and it's actually to the point where when I'm on a rock wall, I can't willingly leap off of the wall and let myself fall. If it happens accidentally, I'm usually fine, but I can't do that to myself. I have to slowly lower myself until I feel that the harness has me and I can just hang there, but I can't deal with the sensation of falling if I'm like trying to mentally build myself up for it. It doesn't work. I'm a scaredy cat. Another fun thing related to that is my husband wants to get me into scuba diving, but I'm claustrophobic underwater. So apparently I just love torturing myself. The final fact number 10, is the one I think will surprise you guys the most, or you guys will tell me that you knew all along and I'll feel really silly, but I served in the active duty U.S. Army for 2 years. I don't really want to talk about what I did. I'm very private about that aspect of my life, but I will tell you right now, I was never deployed, so don't think that I'm some awesome Rambo with 2 machine guns going to save the day or something. I did 2 years of active service. It definitely shaped my life and, gave me perspective that I didn't have before, and it does influence my writing. So if you're ever reading my books and it does have a lot of military themes, there's a reason. So now that will make sense to you. Also, I do wear t-shirts that have Army or military logos on them, so now if you see them, you won't be surprised. Alright, that's all 10 facts. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope it was interesting, and I apologize that my content has kind of been sporadic throughout December. Like I said, I'm just stressed and kind of overwhelmed, as I imagine a lot of you are around this time of year. I think this tag has been around for a few months, and I'm kind of late to the game, so I'm not going to tag anyone because I don't know who has or hasn't done it. But if you're new to YouTube, I do recommend doing it. It's a lot of fun, or if you just haven't done it before, do it. If you do, let me know. I want to hear your answers and hear about how strange and interesting you are behind the scenes of your writing life. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you're having an amazing holiday season, and as always, happy writing. Bye!